So as I was saying, uh, thank you for tuning in. This won't be a super long stream. I'm gonna try to expedite it, mostly because I'm still kind of getting over a cold. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good. Good enough to do this demo. And yeah, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I color in Clip Studio Paint my animations and how I set up my folders. And the way I set everything up is so that it's easy to edit in After Effects. So it's not necessarily like the best pipeline to be using if you just use Clip Studio. Sure, there are faster ways to do things, and I'm still learning myself in many ways. So I'm just showing you what I do currently. And if I ever change my process, I'm always happy to do another demo and keep showing you guys what I do to color up my animations. Because, you know, last week I showed you guys how to make a little rotating cube. Or not last week, but last demo. And I'm sure you guys would love to color your cubes if you've finished them. That was our challenge for the last 3 weeks. I don't know how many people accomplished it or attempted it, but if you did, that is awesome. I'm proud of you. Keep going. That's all I can say. So, you know what? Let's just get into it. This is my cube. I kind of like redid it. Like I started over from the demo because the demo I did it really quick and dirty. This one I actually took my time, set my perspective grid properly. I can show you my perspective grid. So yes, I used the actual Clip Studio perspective grid. Got the hang of it. Made a nice base for myself. But you can see I didn't like perfectly like follow it through and through, but I used it as a good base. So I did this like really clean like geometric cube using the perspective grid. And already you can see like there's some issues with it, even though I followed the perspective grid perfectly. And that's my thing with grids. It's like if you sometimes, even though it looks like it's perfect. Oh, hey Sean, thank you for joining my stream. Welcome. But yes, so sometimes when you follow a grid, it's not always gonna like it's perfect in theory, but to the eyes, it is not appealing. And that's because artists are really illusionists. We're not trying to take a photo or recreate a photo on a piece of paper. What we're trying to do is bring an experience to the eye. So if you ever learn about art history, if you learn about the Greek architecture, and you know about the columns, uh, Greek architecture, they would make the columns rounded a bit, like kind of bloated, kind of like a sweet potato, kind of like an elongated sweet potato. Now the reason they did this was because if you looked at it from afar, like far away, it would actually appear straight. The columns would appear perfectly straight because of the distance and like the way you're viewing it. So, you know, even with physical art, like perfect isn't always the best because one, it feels very like man-made and uncomfortable, and two, it's like we're trying to create something that's appealing, not perfect. And sometimes, actually, like more times than not, imperfection looks better than perfection. Because if you look at the human face, if you're to take a photo and split your face in half and like flipped it, you'll notice it's not exactly the same on both sides. Like our faces are also imperfect, but you know, still like, you know, pretty decent looking. You know, I'm sure we're all lookable. I'm sure none of us are freaking gargoyles. so, so what I'm trying to get at is perfect isn't always right. It's kind of like a fallacy, if anything. So yeah, I followed the grid when I did this cube. It wasn't as nice, but it's okay because I wanted to do a rounded cube. So I took that as a base. I lowered the opacity, and then I made my own version using the geometric version as a guide. And you can see where they differ. You can see where the lines start to be different than the one in the geometric shape. And if you just watch the jelly cube, honestly, that feels like a lot better. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of art history, a little bit of food for thought when it comes to art. So the rotating animations, it really depends how complicated they are. This cube took no time at all. The heart didn't take any time. Like that took like a day to finish. The Jubilee turnaround, my latest NFT that I'll be releasing for auction this Sunday, that took me a month. And I mean, it took me a month on and off because was doing work on top. And there's a lot of layers to it. I had I had a rough and then a tie down and then a cleanup and then a color and then compositing. So there was like a lot of stuff I put into it. And there was a lot of moving parts. So yeah, that one took me about a month. It was a much more complicated shape. I would like to do more character turnarounds like that. But I also want to try to finish animations within 3 weeks. And I think I could do a rotation in 3 weeks if I really just powered through, 8 hours a day, working my normal work hours, but putting into my NFTs. And that's what I would love to do. So let's hope this auction goes good. But aside from that, let's get right into what I actually want to show you guys. How to color your animations in Clip Studio. So, first things first is there's 2 ways that I like to kind of copy this timeline. One, I either just make a new timeline and I start filling it with new cells. But sometimes that can be annoying because you might have a lot of frames. So what I'm actually going to do is duplicate this whole timeline. I have a hotkey. It's called Control J, and it copies the entire folder for me, like so. And I'm just going to rename it MF for Master Flats Cube Rotation. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go to every single frame and delete the frame. And ta-da, now I have a bunch of blanks, which is great because that's what we want. We want a bunch of blank cells that are exactly the same as the one below. I'm actually just going to rename these real quick just to keep them clean. I'll do the same to the other as well. So this is just so you see how everything's 1 and then layer 7, layer 6. So if you go to this menu button and then edit track, rename in timeline order, it'll clean it all up for you. Nice little tip. Yeah. Okay, so now that we have our lovely layers, take any base color. It can be whatever you want. You can always change it. This is just going to be our flat, our master flat, which we're going to use as a base. Yeah. And I'm just going to take the magic wand tool and select the outside. Okay, so right now it's selecting everything that's clear. That's because I don't have apply to connected pixels only turned on. So I'm going to turn that on. Closed gap, you can have it to 2 or 1. Depends how loose your drawings are. By the way, you can apply this method to any of your animations, not just a rotating cube. This is a process that can be used for anything. So I selected the outside. Notice how it selects everything except for the cube. I'm gonna hit this button down here. These are awesome little tools. I love it. This is one of my favorite features of Clip Studio Paint. Just hit the invert selected area button, and I think this lo-fi music is a little loud. Just turn it down a bit. There we go. Cool. Okay, so I hit the invert selected area button, and so now it's gonna select everything inside the cube. After that, I'm gonna just hit this. Sorry, make sure you have your layer selected. I'm gonna hit this paint bucket, fill, boom, done. Our flats are done. Look at that, perfect, seamless, beautiful. And you know what? We're just gonna do that with every single key. And it sounds tedious, but I'm telling you now that Clip Studio makes it easy. Can you imagine having to go to every single one and actually have to paint in these cubes? Hell no. All I gotta do is hit 2 buttons, it's done. Hit F to go to the next frame, select outside, invert, paint bucket, done. So look how quick we can do this. So I learned my method of coloring through my mentor, my teacher, my sensei. And he's all about automating his workflow, kind of like a factory line worker. So he would like do the flats for every single frame, and then he'll color a specific area. So if you find that there's a huge hole here, and even when you use the biggest closed gap, it's just not that nice. Another thing you can do is just take your G pen, your favorite G pen, go over that hole like really lightly, go back to your wand, select, reverse, boom, covered up, done. Easy little fix if you run into that issue. Yeah, you want to kind of think of like yourself as a line worker. So he would do the master flat, like first he would fill everything in like I'm doing right now. Then if something had different colors, like if you're trying to like give the hair a different color, or the clothes different colors, he would pick one of the colors and do that one color for every single frame. So he'll only focus on filling in the hair for every single frame, and then maybe the eyes, every single frame. And then everything that's maybe the color blue, every single frame. He wouldn't go like hair, shirt, eyes, like he wouldn't flat everything on one key and then go to the next. And it actually, I've tried this myself, it actually works. It works much faster than if you're going frame by frame. So let's just pretend one of the sides of my cubes are like, I don't know, a different color. So I'm just gonna fill in a different color. I'm just gonna take my paint bucket this time, and because I'm still referring to multiple layers here, so this is it refers every single layer that's visible, including the lines. I can just, I guess it's not gonna fill that in because there's still a hole. Let's try it now. Boom. So I got all those edges done. Darn, we'll change these colors later, but for now I just want to show you what I mean by automating your workflow. So let's pretend that these are the colors of our cube. If I were to go every single frame and I would color the pink part, and then the yellow, then the white, You see, it kind of takes a little bit more time when I could really just be doing this. Just focusing on one color at a time. And everything that needs that color. Now let's do it with the pink. It's gonna seem like it takes longer at first, but you'll see once you start doing it, it's a lot faster. And you get to see your results a lot faster, in my opinion. You will see. I got a cough. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to like mute if I ever have to cough. I don't want to be coughing in your ears. Sorry, guys. And of course, at this point, you should be clean. Not like what I'm doing. I'm kind of being messy. But you want to make sure everything's tight and closed because this is going to be used as your mask for your shit. Oh, shoot. I guess it doesn't work for looping animation. You know what I'd have to do to make both sides pink? Oops. If I really wanted to have that side the right color, I would just extend I would duplicate and extend the frames. But I kind of cheated and I only did like 1/2 of the cube and then so that it would just repeat. But okay, in regard, you catch my drift on automating your flats. I'm just gonna keep it all one color for now because I cheated. That's okay. Oh, frick. That's what animation's all about. Finding ways to automate your work and save time. So yeah, just to save you more time, I'm gonna select I'm streaming. It's my mom. I'm just gonna turn everything into an alpha and I'm gonna color everything in real quick. So if you don't know what alpha locking is, it takes everything that's already filled in your layer and it makes it so you can only color in those filled spaces. Pretty awesome. Do you guys have any requests on like what color to make the cube? If not, I might just make it, that nice typical teal that I love. Okay, so I'm gonna change my paint bucket to selected layer. So this is only going to fill in whatever's on the selected layer. So those pesky lines don't get in my way. Boom, done. Everything's colored. And so at this point, you want to make sure you really know your colors because you don't want to go back and have to fix everything. Okay, so now you may be wondering, what if I want to make, like, what if I want to give my cube some shadows? In my process, I put all the shadows on its own layer as well. For these reasons, is because when I bring it into After Effects, you want to have control over the shadow colors. Because let's say you want to make the shadows warmer or cooler because you decided to make the lighting a little bit cooler or lighter. You want to be able to control how these shadows are going to come out in the final compositing. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to keep them on a separate timeline. So let's duplicate this layer again, and let's rename it cell, because that's what they are, they're cells. Cube rotation. And same thing, gotta go to every single, I'm gonna turn off these alpha locks. Gotta go through every single one and backspace to clear my keys. Now I have a nice clean timeline. So there's a few ways we could do this. We could manually pick the color that we want to darken. Oops. Or lighten. Or we can set this as a multiply layer. Now, the only concern I have with setting this as a multiply layer is that when you bring it into After Effects, you will need to set this layer as a multiply as well. But the problem with that is that I can't, like, you can't guarantee what the color is gonna look like in After Effects, I guess. It's just like different types of control, because you're gonna get different effects. Yeah, so this is on a multiply. I set this whole timeline as a multiply versus a normal. This is if it was a normal. For now, let's put it as a multiply. If you want to go the extra mile, actually I recommend this if you only stay in Clip Studio Paint. Click to layer below. You can clip whole ass timelines to this layer below. So that means I cannot color outside my master flat. Isn't that just sick? That makes life pretty easy. Just a warning that if you bring this into After Effects, you're gonna have to set up your clipping files again. Otherwise, it's just gonna render out like this. Like, this is how you're gonna have to render it out. And then in After Effects, you're gonna have to clip it. But since we're staying in Clip Studio for this demo, let's just clip it in here. And we'll use this multiply layer. So let's see, how do we want to color or shade this cube? I think it could be darker than that. Yeah, so if you're curious about my color setup, I have this color wheel here, then my color sliders. I use these probably the most, and also my color history. Sometimes I'll use the color set, not as much. You know, I'm gonna put color history above color set because I use color history more. And the color history is just gonna tell you like what colors you most recently used. Color sets, you can download some or use whatever they give you, and it's just like a set palette for you. Another tip is pick up color from layer. This is going to pick up the color from the layer that you're on without any blending mode affected on it. So you see how it picked this light blue color, and that is exactly the same as my color when it's multiplied. Now if I had the other eyedropper obtain display color, that's going to get exactly what we're seeing right now, and I try to paint again, it's going to throw off my shadows because I'm coloring on top of a multiply layer and I'm applying the color that's already calculated, the multiply color and the base color. So we want to pick up the color from the layer. That way we can continue with our shadow. Now, I'm going to try to color this so that it works even though it's rotating. If my shadow is going to be on the right side, as it's rotating, it's going to have to, I guess, lighten up and turn back dark on this side. So let's just do that. I will say I did not prepare anything before starting this demo. I just had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to show you guys. So bear with me. I've been sick pretty much all week, and then I had to start working again. My clients decided, hey, this is the week we should call Michelle to do work, even though I was free all month to work. And they decided to pick the week where I was sick and needed to rest. Yeah, I just coughed. Okay, let's see how that looks. Cool. Kind of works out. So this kind of makes up for the fact that I kind of cheated in my animation. I think one more frame, like this one right here, we could lighten that up a tiny bit as well. There, it's a bit smoother of a transition. Cool. I kind of like it. Now we can also do some cool stuff like adjusting the line color. Um, you could always just take a new raster layer, flip it to the layer below, and just fill it up. I wouldn't recommend this. Actually, no, this method's fine, to be honest. You could also, instead of doing that, just use this change layer color. It'll actually change the whole entire layer as well. This one's probably less destructive because you can also go in here and pick different colors. You can start to see that these are no longer as perfect as we thought. So what I'm going to do is just go back in here. Yeah, because my area scaling wasn't on. So area scaling makes it so it kind of goes out a little farther than your selected area. So let's just fix that. We might just need to take our little G-Pen and go in there and fix the little imperfections, and that's okay. That is A-okay. There's no one button to solve all your answers. You gotta get in there. But there's always ways to work a little bit more efficiently, and that is through automating your work, like I explained earlier. Whoa, that was loud. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Oh, hey, it's Redo. What's up? So some of you might be wondering, how do I get cube looking juicy? Like your heart animation. Oh shit, thanks for the Twitch Prime. I'm not sure what Twitch Prime does, but I appreciate it. I think you get like emojis? I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't know what it does either. So imagine you had more than 1 second of animation, more frames than this, and you have to color every single one. It's a character. So, you can really imagine how long it took me to finish that Jubilee rotation, because she had multiple colors, multiple shadows, multiple things happening at the same time, affecting one another. So, yeah, it can take a while. So I'm going to make another copy of this, and I'm going to make this my highlight. And I only do this because I didn't use a normal layer. So I can't just put them all in the same layer, unfortunately. Just clear these. There. Does that have clear frames? Oops. Set my little corners to be lit. Now, if I wanted, I could have already made the top brighter on the flat layer, but I didn't, which is fine. I can do it here. That might be a bit much. I feel like it's not have to be that bright. Yeah, like that feels fine. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can see I'm still not 100%, but I'm doing my best. Yesterday, I coughed twice and then sneezed 3 times in a row. It was crazy. Look at that. That is a rotating cube. Yeah, as I was saying, you might be wondering, how do I get things looking juicy? Well, my friends, all you need to do is add a juicy highlight on the corner, the edge. Let's see where we want to add our juicy highlight. That little bit is really all you need. Now with highlights, you kind of want to keep them in the same area. So I'm keeping it in this corner. try to keep them as consistent as possible so it's not like jumping. Hey, look at that. That one little highlight really makes a difference, making that cube a little juicy. Uh, Honestly, it's a little bit of trial and error as well. Like, it's not like, oh, I knew I had to slide down that shine. And honestly, it's probably not even like that's not how light works, I guess. But it feels nice. It feels fun and juicy, you know? So like it's right to me. um and honestly when it comes to like bending rules like that, it just comes down to understanding your basic knowledge of lighting and values, color and light. I'm no expert when it comes to color and light. I just really know the basics enough to get by. And yeah, that's what I know. So there you have it. I took my plain ass cube, my colorless, boring colored cube, and I gave it a little bit of juiciness. Boom. We started with the flats. We gave it some shadows. Then we colored the lines a little bit. And then we added some highlights. And then we got our juicy cube. Now you can always go back, and because we had everything layered out, you can always go back and easily fix up these colors. Like if I wanted to change the base of this cube to red or orange, whatever, I could do that. Now the reason the top's not coloring is because that's on a normal layer. And I would actually have to go into here and let's just set this to an overlay layer. There. Not the most ideal way to colorize things, but just saying you can. Like you would have to go back and obviously alter some stuff. But it's all there for you to play around with and fix up. The work is done. You can change up whatever you want. How I would recolor this cube is I would actually just take it to After Effects and then recolor everything. Or take, if you want to do it in here and you want to be lazy, because we all love to be lazy, take a hue sat correction layer and just adjust the color. Easy peasy. Just set that at the top. If it's at the top, it's affecting everything below it. Bam, done. And if you want, you can do that to every single layer and personalize it. So forth. But really, like, in terms of the basics of how to color your animations, like, that is it. There's not much more to it. It's not overly complicated. It's more just, like, tedious, if anything. Does anybody have any questions about the process at all? Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Should I call Mju Lee? Miju? Oh, yeah. Any questions? I'm sorry this wasn't as, like, engaging. I mean, like, I'm still coughing, so I'm sorry. Yeah. There are moments where my throat will suddenly feel dry and I need to cough. Yeah. Okay. If there's no questions or concerns, you're always free to just DM me, talk to me in Discord, wherever, and just ask me whatever questions you may have. And I'll do my best to answer them. I may be busy because, like, sometimes I get work, but I will get back to you eventually. I will try. I hope this was a helpful little demo. It wasn't long, pretty short. I think if I were to make, like, a real tutorial, like, where I just record myself doing it and then did a talk over, I could post it on YouTube and it would be, like, pretty nice and helpful. But I'll just post this. I still need to post the other one. I'm really bad at posting videos. I need help when it comes to videos. If you know a person who's great at YouTube video editing, please send them my way. And maybe not overly priced, because I am but a humble artist still trying to make it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to my short but humble stream. I'm not sure what the next stream will be about. It may be a demo, it may be just me doing some animation work. We'll see. But I will think about it. Just a reminder that this Sunday is my auction for my NFT drop. If you don't know what it is, check out my Twitter. Check out my Instagram, because I have revealed my stuff, my shit. Oh, let me see. Okay, there we go. I have revealed all of my goods on those two platforms, or my Discord. And all the info is there, how much it's going to cost, bidding times and stuff like that. And it's on Solana, so get your Solana wallets in order. And every participant gets a free NFT. It's a ConCon Love token NFT. And you can use it to join raffles or lotteries to become a character in my ConCon Love universe. And I think it's a really cool, like, aspect of my collection, is that you as a bidder can become a character in my collection, and you get to see yourself move around in animation. You get to become an anime character. How cool is that? I would love that. I haven't even drawn myself yet. You'll be done before me. So that should be, like, the final piece, is me as a ConCon Love character. We'll see. Thank you again. I'll see you guys tomorrow on my Discord. I'm having a Let's Talk on starting passion projects. So if you want to learn more about how to start a passion project, what's the mindset to have when starting one, tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that's enough me plugging stuff. I'll let you guys go now because I gotta go. Thank you again. Have a lovely weekend. See you tomorrow. Bye.